And mine's and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and my internet's slow. But do me a favor and hit that like button because do it for the Loch Ness Monster. And we have spent some time carrying the Saints EDC official Husky flashlight. So let's take a look at what we're holding because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I spoil you. So first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tipped down, I guess. I hate tip down, but we all live in sin. It's acceptable here because that's the most effective way to use it. We have got a couple of dingus end lights. We have got regular, we have got medium, low, and strobe, and we got turbo mode. All right, now that that's out of the way, I had to think of ways to make that work. But this thing has one major fatal flaw, and if you guys have been keeping up with this, you guys know the dingus end right here with the membrane on it, they didn't really glue that down too well. I accidentally peeled it off and there was like a little spot of some kind of glue here and a little bit of spot of some kind of glue here. Was not adhered very well at all. So we tried some UV resin, that didn't work, and I gave up on it until I decided, hey, somebody said try CA, and I got nothing else. So thin CA apparently sticks to whatever this membrane's made out of, and it glued it down really nicely. I'm still not used to materials like this responding to cyanoacrylate. That's super glue for that's fancy words for super glue. That's the $5 word right there, cyanoacrylate. But you know, I wasn't used to it, so I didn't think it was going to work, but lo and behold, here we are, you and me together in this point in space and time. So I did carry this, and I carried it tucked under the belt for a while. And I got to tell you, this thing is an absolute chonk. This thing ate up a ton of space, and it wound up being pretty hard to carry. Now, you've got kind of a rubberized surface here, and that really grabbed onto the belt and made it super hard to put onto the belt and pull it back off of the belt. This thing wound up being really hard to live with day in and day out. But that being said, you know, I did find some ways to play with it. You know, it proved useful like once. It proved useful like one time, and other than that, like I was trying to just find ways to use it, find ways to play with it. I will say if you got a flashlight like this, put it under a gallon of water and fire it up. Yeah, it's just blessed water. Blessed water. That's what you make right there. But, you know, this thing was hard to carry day in and day out. It took up a lot of space. And, of course, trying to sit down or anything with this much dingus end hanging off of it, it dug in a whole lot. And it was, generally speaking, a bit of a nuisance. Reasonably comfortable for how big this thing is, but yeah, a little tiny bit of a nuisance. Now, you can tell this thing wasn't really meant to EDC like that. However, I wanted to carry it and give you guys some kind of feedback on this thing. And, I mean, you know, aside from the membrane peeling off, one other thing I don't like is it's hard to get your fingy around here and press down hard enough to activate it. Like, you know, if you're holding it like this, it's hard to get that thing activated. You know, if you're holding it like this, of course, it ain't going to do nothing. And of course, you know, the turbo button, it's not necessarily meant for all the use. You know, you can get in there and you can hit this button easily enough and do what you got to do and adjust it accordingly. So, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where the way I was using it and the way I was playing with it, it was a little bit of a headache. But, you know, outside of that, again, like this is one that's probably going to go in the glove box of the wife's car or it's going to go in my truck, one of the two, so that I've got a flashlight on me. I do like the idea of having the flashlight, and now that I've fixed the worst major flaw in it, yeah, it's going to go in there and get kept for emergencies or, you know, anything else that I need a flashlight for at that point in time. You know, and this is a fairly short review. Like, I can't think of a whole lot to add about it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a flashlight. It works. You know, and like, so a lot of guys have said, once you have a flashlight on you, you're going to find reasons to use it. You're going to need it more than you think. And it's just my day-to-day life. I don't need a flashlight, but it was fun to have a toy to play with. You know, if I were to buy one on my own, I'd be buying one of the smaller flat EDC flashlights that would fit there more comfortably and be a bit easier to pull off of the belt and put back on the belt. You know, and we may have something like that coming in. I'm not sure yet. Like, it's saying it's out for delivery for the last 2 days, so your guess is as good as mine at the moment. But, you know, we're focused on this thing right now. And again, as crazy bright as this thing is, as just insanely bright as it is, it's a lot of fun to mess with. And I had a couple of coworkers being super annoying. So from all the way across a very long back room, I just held it up and held the turbo button up and waited till they looked up, and I got the better of them. I got the better of them, and no, I'm not going to point it at myself and shoot myself in the eyes with it again. I did that once, I learned my lesson. So, like I said, overall, not good to try to EDC in your pocket or under your belt, like just so much real estate taken up, and the rubberized coating makes a little bit of a headache. But, to keep it in your car in case of emergencies or something like that, or if you ever need a flashlight, yeah, great. If you need this around the house or you need a flashlight around the house, it's okay, but you also can't tail stand this thing. Now, you can put it in like a coffee mug or something like that, and it'll keep itself tail stood. And as bright as it is, even at 600 lumens. Like 600 lumens is low compared to what I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of 1,000 lumen EDC flashlights, which is going to be even more fun to play with. Turbo mode is 800 lumens, but that 600 lumens is plenty. You lose power, you set that in a coffee mug, and you turn it on. It's going to flood a room. It's going to flood a room. It's going to do a nice job. I have other stuff that's easier to flood a room with, but if need be for a second room or something like that, yeah, this will work just fine. So, yeah, I mean, that's everything I can think of say about it. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. Let's say thanks to Saints EDC for the trade that resulted in this being here. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.